Hey folks, welcome back to another Top 10 list with yours truly, Sam Healy. This is one of 3 lists that I'm going to be making this week and sharing with you all because GenCon is coming up and I'm sadly not going to be able to make it. Well, sadly because I'm not going to be able to be there, but I've got family visiting in town and I'm kind of enjoying that. So it's not that big of a deal, but I'm not going to be able to be at GenCon. But if I were, this list is the top 10 games that I would make it a point of trying to go and demo at almost all costs. Because these are 10 games that I think would be pretty cool, or at least they seem pretty cool. I want to go check them out and see if they're going to be pretty cool. Now, I say 10 games. I've actually got 14 here because 2 I've already demoed at Origins, but they were good demos, so I want you to go check them out if you're going to be there. And then 2 other ones didn't quite make the list because I found one of them after I'd already made the top 10, and I didn't want to go and rearrange it because, well, I saw it the first time, I just didn't catch it the first time, so I was trying to be a little bit transparent there. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to the top 10 games being demoed at GenCon that if I were going, I would try to get them demoed. A super long, non-pithy title, but I think you get the idea. Let's hit it. So, my number 10 is a game called 4 Horsemen. Now, get this tagline. The tagline is, Divine Heroes cooperatively work together to prevent the apocalypse. You just sold me. That's a great tagline. It is a cooperative game. I love cooperative games. And it's a deck construction game. Not so sure I'm on board with that one, but I like the theme, and I took a look at the artwork, and the artwork is on point. Those are a couple of things that are really big for me. I like aesthetics, and I love good themes. So I'd be very interested in giving this one a try. That's why it squeaked in on top 10. I'm not so sure about the deck construction. Deck building is great. Deck construction, we'll have to see a little bit later on. But based on theme and aesthetics, artwork alone, I would be willing to go give this one a try. So I'm encouraging you to do the same since you're going to be there and I'm not. My number 9 is a game called Empire's End. Now, the designer's name is what caught my interest on this one, John D. Clair. And I've met John. He's a great guy. I've also played a lot of his games, and I like his design space. So I'm thinking that I'll probably enjoy this. But then I also caught the artist's names, Kwanchai Maria, sorry, mispronounced it. And I've enjoyed his artwork in the past as well. But as far as the game is concerned, we're talking about an auction bidding game. But I looked at the game and it looks interesting. I'm not usually a person for auction bidding games, but I like John D. Clair and I like Maria's, sorry, gosh, man, I'm so stupid. Maria's artwork as well. So this is a great looking game. And John D. Clair hasn't done me bad in the past. So I'm kind of really just going on the designer's name on this one and not a whole lot else. But I do like this, the look of this game, and I like the designer. Spending resources to save your civilization from disaster and rebuilding as fast as you can. So that's a cool tagline as well. So I'm willing to go give this one a check out. Number 9 at Empire's End. My number 8 is a game that I got kind of the elevator pitch from at Origins from the designer BA Games, Sam Stockton, and Forges of Ravenshire. This looks like a really interesting game. Here's the tagline. You're running a forge in Ravenshire, competing for the title of Forge Master. So I've liked games like this in the past where you're taking on certain kinds of contracts and that kind of thing. You have some in-game bonuses. There is a progressive turn order. There's dice rolling. There's contracts. I've liked games like this in the past, and so I'm interested in what this one has to offer. I didn't have time because I caught BA Games just as I was on my way back to the Airbnb to catch my flight back home. So I didn't have time to demo it at Origins, but If I were at GenCon, I would definitely be stopping by that booth to check this one out. So I hope you can as well. That's my number 8, Forges of Ravenshire. My number 7 is Horror on the Orient Express, the board game. Check out this tagline. Investigate clues and battle monsters while traveling on the Orient Express. Wow. All right. Adam Kwapinski is what brought my interest up on this one. I'm not too much of a horror theme kind of person, whether it's board games or movies or what have you. So that was neither here nor there for me, but Adam Kwapinski alerted my attention to this. It's so far it has a 3.3 rating out of 5 for heaviness, so that might be a little bit hard, but it is a cooperative game. It looks like it's a deck or bag or pool building game. Modular board, I like that. I like the deck bag or pool building aspect. I like the cooperative game. I like the fact that it's a board game, and here we go, narrative choice and paragraphs. So there's a story-driven element to it, and I really like those aspects of it as well. So click on the 4 more things that we have here. Variable player power, scenario mission, campaign game. So these are all things that are pointing me towards, you're probably going to like this, stupid. So go check it out. So that's why I'm putting it on my list at number 7. Regardless of the horror theme, I think everything else is going to be pretty fun. So I'd want to go check it out. My number 7, Horror on the Orient Express, the board game. My number 6 is a game called Apex Legends, the board game. Now, I haven't played Apex Legends, the video game, but my sons have, and I've watched them play a lot, so I'm aware of Apex Legends, and it looks like a really fun game if you're into that online first-person shooter genre. It looks like it would be a pretty fun game, so this one has my attention just because of that connection to the game, that I know of its existence, I know how popular it is, and so forth and so on. I don't really have any other thing other than that. Let's look at the mechanisms that it employs. Grid movement, hand management, interrupts, line of sight, multiple maps. So there's also square grid, sudden death ending, team-based games, 3-dimensional movement, variable player powers. That sounds like it's going to be something that I'll probably enjoy. It'll just have to depend on how it plays out. But I am looking forward to trying to get this one tried out somehow, somewhere. Maybe it'll be at one of the other conventions I'll be able to go out this year. But my number 6 is Apex Legends, the board game. My number 5 is a game that I actually saw pictures, or rather advertisements of, at Origins, and it piqued my interest because it is a musically based game. Check out this tagline: craft musical instruments for patrons through worker placement and hidden bidding. I really enjoy worker placement games. Not so much a fan of bidding and auctioning, but worker placement is really fun. And I also like that idea, going back to Forges of Ravenshire, of doing contracts and that kind of thing, or creating things for people in a game. I like doing that kind of stuff. So Luthier, or Luthier, however you might pronounce it, has really piqued my interest. I saw a lot of banners and advertisements for it at Origins. I didn't have the time. I will say this, Paverson's games booth at Origins was bussin' the entire time. But I mean, they were busting at the seams every single time I went by. Didn't have time to sit down and chat with them about Luthier, but I was wanting to. So if I'm at GenCon, that'll be one of the things that I would be wanting to go demo, because my interest was super piqued at Origins for it. Some of the mechanisms, auction building, worker placement, different worker types. I really like that aspect of worker placement when that mechanism is kind of added to the worker placement aspect of it. So this is one that I'm looking forward to trying. You know, my son plays the cello. My other son Dante plays the trumpet and the French horn and some other thing that I don't know the name of. My daughter plays the piano. I play the guitar. We're kind of a musical family. Not really, you know, we're not the Von Trapps or anything like that, but you get what I'm saying. The musical theme, I think, would work well with my family, so that's why I would be interested in it. But all of those mechanisms work really well together, too, in my opinion. So if I were at Gen Con, I'd be stopping by. My number 5, Luthier, PAVERSON Games. My number 4 is based on how much I enjoyed the recent TV series The Last of Us, but The Last of Us Escape the Dark is one that I would be going to check out. We have THEMEBORNE Limited as the game that's publishing it. Here's the tagline: a board game with a dark twist on the critically acclaimed video game series. It was a pretty dark series. What kind of a dark twist did you need? That has me a little bit of a shaky, but cooperative game, cool. Dice rolling, cool. Moving through a deck, that's cool. Narrative choice paragraphs, also cool. Story-driven mechanisms, that kind of thing. Pushing your luck, storytelling, variable setup. All of these things are pointing me towards I will enjoy this game. But let's just see how it works, and this is why I would be having some time set aside to go check out The Last of Us Escape from the Dark, or Escape the Dark, at Gen Con if I were going. Boo-hoo. My number 3 is on my list because we love the original game, its predecessor, Cascadia. Cascadia Landmarks is something that I would be like, yes, show me more, because we have really enjoyed Cascadia up here in the Pacific Northwest, and it goes over pretty well with everyone that we introduce it to. So I'm assuming that Cascadia Landmarks would pretty much down that same road. Some of the mechanisms place beautiful natural landmarks as you expand Cascadia. In-game bonuses, hexagon grid, open drafting, pattern building, scenario mission campaign. Okay, that's pretty cool. What else have they got for us? Tile placement, variable setup, victory points as a resource. These are all things that we're pretty familiar with from Cascadia, so I'm sure that we'll probably like this, but I would also want to try it before I actually tried to purchase it as well. But you can go demo it, so go check it out. That's my number 3, Cascadia Landmarks. And if you've been paying attention to the Gen Con preview list, you probably were expecting this next one to be on my list, and that is the A.R.T. project, the art project. Players work together to recover stolen art. I like that idea. Kind of harkens back to some of those stories we've heard from World War II, where Allied teams were sent in to try to recover some of the art that was taken by the Nazi regime. And so the theme grabbed me, first of all, but then Vincent Dutrait's artwork sold the deal, if I can put it that way. So what do we have going on here? We've got card play, conflict resolution, not too shabby. I like that kind of stuff. Chaining, it's a cooperative game. Okay, I love cooperative games. Dice rolling, moving multiple units. What else have we got going here? Multiple maps, scenario mission campaign game, set collection, variable setup, zones of control. These are all things that I've enjoyed in games in the past, and with Vincent Dutrait's artwork, it's pretty much an auto buy. So this would be on an auto buy list for me, but it's only being demoed, so it's an auto demo for me. So that's my number 2, the A.R.T. project, or the art project. And my number 1 game that I would really want to go demo at Gen Con is because it's my number 1 because it's one of the 2, maybe 3 games that I wasn't able to demo at Origins because it wasn't ready to be demoed at Origins. They didn't get all of their stuff in. So Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze is my number 1 game that if I were going to Gen Con, I would definitely be making time to go demo it to see what it's like. It is from Restoration Games. Team up in Unmatched to take down the Mothman or the Martian Invader. Those are just cool That's just a cool theme. So you've got action points. It's a campaign battle card driven game. It's card play, conflict resolution. It is cooperative. It's got hand management in it. What else have we got? Variable player powers, point-to-point movement. So it's basically unmatched, but it's a cooperative game, and you're all working towards a common enemy. That sounds really fun to me. But on top of that, it's scenario-based, and it's a campaign game. So, wow. I'm really super looking forward to that. I hope I can get it played sometime in the near future. I'm not going to be at GenCon, so poo-poo. But if I were, number one game that I'd be trying to go demo at GenCon. Now, there are some honorable mentions, and I briefly mentioned them at the beginning, but we'll go ahead and name them here. First of all, Charcuterie, the board game. I was able to demo that at Origins, and I cannot more highly recommend you going to check that game out. It's a really fun, it's a clever, challenging game as well. So definitely do what you can to go check that out. Call of Duty, the board game. I was able to demo that at Origins as well, and I even have a prototype copy on the way. So I'm really looking forward to getting that to the table and sharing that with you guys as well. NARR, N-A-R-R, is a game that kind of flew under my radar because the box didn't grab me as I would have hoped that it would. But you guessed it, it's a Viking game. So, yeah, I got to go check that one out, too, if I were there. And then finally, Chaos Cove is one that kind of jumped out at me. I liked, first of all, that it's a Martin Wallace game. Martin Wallace is one of the OGs, man. 2 to 4 players, 45 to 60 minutes. And so it's a shorter Martin Wallace game, which he's usually known for his heavier stuff. But Ape Games is doing it, and I just thought it was an interesting looking concept here. So I hope, and I'm looking at some of the minis that they have, and those minis look pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks great, and it's got some great artwork on it as well. So it looks interesting. It's a Martin Wallace game, but it looks like it's a light Martin Wallace game. So that's my top 10 of games that I would demo if I were going to GenCon this year. I'm not, sadly, but if you're going, definitely put these 10 to 14 games on your list to go check out because I think they'd be cool. Tell them Sam sent you. They won't know who I am. Maybe they will, but it probably won't mean anything. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.